Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
The internet is broken. Business models and site design are entirely geared toward advertising and not the reader. On today's internet, advertisements are distracting, invasive, and overwhelming. In Den, the primary objective is quality content. Instead of ads, you may occasionally see a boosted post where a user has risked value to increase its visibility. Just like any other post, you can upvote or downvote to help evaluate the relevance to your community. The more engagement a boosted post gets, the less the booster pays. Depending on the evaluation process, a booster can get up to 85% of their money back, if the post is well targeted and engaging. In Den, quality content is the primary objective.
All right, welcome to the show. It's Super Happy Dragon Lucky, episode 88. That's 0x88 hex. It's the 138th episode. I'm sure the digits mean something to someone. Reminder, nothing that I'll say today is financial advice, so keep that in mind. Also, stay tuned after the updates for a very much anticipated Telegram-themed AMA, and this is a special episode because although it's not the first of the month, we're still going to just answer all the questions, not just the first three, because we love you. So first of all, number go up. Unanswered missile attacks on U.S. facilities, or gas prices, or number of biolabs in the Ukraine. Your choice today. Lots of numbers going up. It's an interesting world these days. So anyway, things other than the Bitcoin price also go up occasionally. Next, let's go to Dragonchain updates. So first off, get your Den.Social account now if you don't have one. We're going to very soon migrate all conversations from Telegram into Den. For a variety of reasons. We wanted to wait for chat, which is coming very soon in Den, but we're probably going to move everything in before that's released. I mean, there will still be unofficial channels and groups on Telegram, obviously, that people can do whatever they might want to do anyway. But anything that's official, we're going to move into Den. And if it's unique enough of a discussion group, we are fully willing to put together a layer in Den for it as well. But right now, everything will probably just move into the Dragonchain layer. We will be pushing updates from the Dragonchain layer and the blog posts or anything important that's going on into those Telegram chats. But there's been enough drama in there that we just don't have time to mess with anymore. It just makes better sense to pull it over into Den, because effectively we can that the system moderates itself because we have reputation. There's auto banning plugged in, that all of which works. So we're going to give that a try, see what you guys think, and do pay attention for when chat comes out, because that will, we do want to get some testing on it. And frankly, the great thing about it, any other project, I think the community would be praising for this move, because it's a platform built on Dragonchain itself. Anybody that doesn't want that, you have to question their authenticity, I think. But either way, whatever that is, to each his own. You guys do whatever you want there. So watch for that. Hopefully that will happen. I don't know, it might even happen this week. I don't know. But so make sure you get your Den.Social account. If you're a member of Fellowship, make sure you go in there and fill out that form so that you can get brought into the Fellowship group as well. That is also already on Den. Okay. Next, we go to Den.Social updates. Speaking of, the March 2022 LCP results are in. New this month, to be created, the winners, the top one in LOR committed and the top two in unique voters. And so the winner first in most lore committed is the contest layer, which I think it was a last minute. I think this might have changed overnight, but either way, the most lore committed was contest layer with 1.7 million lore committed and 55 unique voters. Decent Crypto proposed the layer in February of 2022, so it wasn't even very long. It was like a month. That's pretty fast winner. And the first place in unique voters was Collectibles, also with 1.7 million lore committed, probably a little bit less than the other maybe, and 65 unique voters. That's a lot. Dragon Time, DRG in Time, proposed the layer in December of 2020. You think about that. That's kind of nice. That's kind of crazy. Over a year. So, and by the way, the second place for unique voters was the contest layer. So we only get two this month. That was an experiment, by the way. And you can look at how those two interacted and see how both the unique and the amount of lore was put in. I want to put together an experiment maybe for next month. I don't know if we have time to do it before that, but in order to say that the second or third highest by lore would be created, and then the top two by unique. I don't know what you think about that. Think about it. I'm probably going to put a proposal in for that just to see how that works, because that'll be super interesting to see how people play that. Okay, as a reminder, as announced here prior, the top 5 layer proposals by unique voter count from the current LCP after the winner, so the runners up, the top 5 runners up, will be eligible for creation by anyone who has committed lore to that proposal during the now closed LCP commit phase at a graduated reduced rate. So essentially the number 1 runner up would cost 200, the number 2 runner up 400. So the top 5 are like that. And as secondarily, as approved per GI vote, any denizen with lore committed in any layer proposal with at least 8 unique voters can pay 2,500 matter to create the layer. So anything ranked by unique voters below the top 5 runners up can be created as long as they have 8 unique voters already committed. So they have a little decent community, but it's essentially that was to get people to it's an experiment obviously, but to get people to commit to what they actually want to see created and not just horse race. Well, that one's going to get created, so I'm going to throw all my lore there. So anyway, look at that. See if you want to do that with any. There are some pretty good candidates out there that might be a fun thing to see. So please watch, see the results post for information and the request form. The form will be submitted no later than Sunday, March. You have to submit your request to create any of these layers by the runners up or by the greater than 8 by Sunday, March 20th at 11:59:59 UTC. So it's essentially before we create the next set, you have to have that in. And I think I don't know if you have to have it paid out, but you can talk to support there. Next, we go to DENDAO. There is a current discussion post about the LOR Behavior rewards. You could call it the LOR farming system, which is what to do with the remaining balance of 2021 lore. And it details why there is a balance, and we've talked about it in the past, but there's quite a decent amount of lore that was not put out in the process last year, over 800 million lore. So go in and add your thoughts. We're not necessarily looking for changes in the rewards model. That is, things about rewarding matter along with the lore, things like that. That's not the question. I mean, that's open for discussion, obviously, at any point. It's a DAO, but the main point of this is what to do with that lore, and ideally without changing any code. I mean, if we just put it in a bucket, it will just roll out with the current implementation and won't cost us any time. So let us know your thoughts. Do you want to see this running for 5 more years, for 10 more years past what we've already planned? Or do you want to see more of it put out this year, or some mixture of all of those things? So let us know what you think. And if you have any actual thought on, what percent should be put into 2022 and what should be, put elsewhere, it would be great. So anyway, go there, participate, get some info into that discussion, and we'll all get together and put together a proposal to make that change. So let's see here. Next update. There's an actual update to the Denmobile app for it adds the ability to vote on the DENDAO governance pieces that was in web only for a bit there. That's now available on mobile. It also has the ability to post governance issues, certain governance issues now in there, and it has a couple of common layout bugs. So, go check that out. Do the update. It's a welcome change, because I was having to go back and forth when I was on my mobile device. So this is kind of nice. Next, tune in tomorrow for Coffee with Den at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And the Den governance call is Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. See the post in the DENDAO layer for the agenda, and a link to join live. You're welcome to join to cover anything regarding Den. You don't have to show your face, but sometimes some questions are better asked verbally. So, you are welcome to join. Next, we go to WBRT World Blockchain Roundtable Updates. Episode 43 is this Thursday, 2 days from today. The topic is Layer 2 Zero Knowledge Rollup Solutions. Go leave a question or topic related to that on the weekly post. And also, review what else is in there and vote up what you think should be asked or spoken about on the show. It's kind of the magic of the show is you guys get to decide what we talk about. And also watch and share last week's episode, which was on entertainment. Now it currently has over 1,600 views, and more views it gets in the first week, the more locked all of the participants will get. And there is also a governance issue related to the show, which, watch for a post later today asking for April themes. If your theme is selected, you will be rewarded a lot for that episode. And the active vote right now is on rotating the presenter role. Go vote now. I wanted to kind of experiment with, so I kind of asked all the rest of the hosts, would they be interested in, reading the questions, number one, and doing the intros and the outros. And I don't know if it would be a rotation every show, or if it's a single person, we just take turns, or whoever's feeling like it that day. So we're gonna try that if everybody votes for that. So go vote now. Also, if you have any ideas to change the format, maybe we're running a little too long with the current events segment or something like that. Do make a governance issue, MISC issue to change that. You only need to have some amount of WBRT lot, and you can do that, or you can get with someone who does have that, and I'm sure other people will make those posts. So anyway, it's there for you to do that. That's why it's designed the way it is. So that is it for updates. So we're gonna do the full AMA right after this.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at Dragonchain.com, America's blockchain.
All right. before we're gonna refresh the questions, but there is a question in chat, live chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. It won't get credit, it won't get a lot, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. Dragonscale website, why was it taken down? Is the project canceled? We have a partnership with a European entity to manage rollout and to do various things, initiatives with Dragonscale. They're focused on Europe and Asia and India right now, and they're doing some pretty cool stuff, some pretty exciting things. And yet, so it's not down. It's just we just changed course there, and effectively handed over some of the stuff to someone that can do something with it while we build other things. So anyway, let's see here. So first question, I'm going to pull these over so that I can see them better on the screen. First question, Jegs. Oh boy, this one's fun. Okay, so here, let me see. And move everything around. Okay, should we be worried that an ex-dev has stated that Dragonchain isn't powering anything apart from Den and Eternal? Both of which you guys hate, by the way, right? So anyway, let's see here. So the first up, and this is a at least a list from from of what we know is running, both because we're either partnered with someone or because there is some stated agreement that we know what they're doing. So Den and Eternal, there you go. Smart Ballots, and it is just starting, but Smart Ballots is running. There's stuff there. Rainmaker, obviously it's running. They're about to launch their token sometime pretty soon. I don't remember the final date, so I'm not going to say anything here, but they're running. They have active users. They have a great dev team. We are participating with them. Obviously, they just turned on the L5 interchain node inside of DragonNet to Binance Smart Chain. So they're doing a lot, and that's totally independent of Dragonchain. That's not our product. Factor MiFi, also in partnership with some of the entities over there. There's also a small integration with Rainmaker there. There's an upcoming NFT platform that most of you have heard about. That we have a lot, we have a lot of things going on there. We have 2 unannounced projects that we're actively working on with partners. They're still in some level of development, but they are there. The SADA migration, which some of you have, for whatever reason, written off as I don't know, I even know what, but that's an ongoing thing. We've already signed some things with them, and we're actively working on a few different initiatives with them. So, and that's all tied to GCP, Google Cloud Platform, enterprise stuff. So anyway, really good stuff there. And there will, by the way, likely be some products coming out based upon that relationship. So anyway, trying to think what else I probably shouldn't say anything else there. And as always, there are plenty of projects that are independently run without any visibility on our part that, we, and I can give you at least one example without saying the name, but a very large firm was using the platform, and we didn't know until they had a support issue. And when they had the support issue, we're like, oh, we had no idea what, and we still don't know what they were or are running, but they were running something. So, and it doesn't mean that they're going to have 1 billion transactions, or that, there's so many ways that you can use Dragonchain platform. I don't know how they were using it. I believe, just based upon the title of the person asking the support question, that it had some security implications. It was a pretty cool thing to think of when I was thinking, oh, I wonder what they're doing with it, right? So anyway, there's all types of stuff, and about the dev, you have to take everything with a grain of salt from anyone out there, especially someone in the trader group, which that screenshot is from. that this dev hasn't been with Dragonchain for quite a while. I don't remember the date, but probably a lot of you could look up when and know. Falls into a classic definition of a disgruntled former employee, I would assume, right? There's no information that this person would have on what is going on internally. He shouldn't be sharing any info about internal operations. You have to think about that. He was also a dev. He was never in a business development role. I think he might have fancied that he was, but he, because he did do some things that would, be considered in that context that were pretty cool. But he was never someone who knew everything that was going on that side at all. And I will say, I can say that he was salty because he didn't get what he wanted on his way out. So listen to people like that at your own risk. And know that every company has similar situations. I've never been in a company that didn't have some weird freaking drama as people left. I mean, I've even left companies where, for weird reasons, people that were the friendliest people in the world all of a sudden don't talk to you anymore in the last 2 weeks. It's really strange. But anyway, and you have to think about it with employees when you don't follow a process for vested options or other things. That sometimes people get emotional. However that works, that's the answer to that question. I hope that was okay. I just think it's odd, but let's go next question. Okay. And thank you for wait. And he was on Den only, right? So at the time when he left, only on Den. Okay, next, Angel Breaker. Can you give us insight about what the devs are currently working on, quote, the core platform to, quote, migrate to Google Cloud for SADA, maybe also on the technological level? A big part, SADA is a reseller for Google. And I'm not the best to tell you exactly what all they do because it's a huge organization. And so far, everyone we've met there has been super nice, very awesome, all focused on the right stuff. They do a lot of work migrating enterprises into Google Cloud Platform. A lot of times from AWS, of course, sometimes from wherever. But essentially, they brought us into a couple of different things and a couple of different initiatives that are very interesting, very promising. And one of the things that we've been wanting to do for a while is address 2 or 3 very tight technical, niche technical things about Dragonchain's core platform to improve it. And one of them is related to footprint for a level 1 business node, primarily on the memory side. That we find that some of the nodes, when you push through a tremendous amount of volume, that we would like to make the memory footprint and other resources more efficient and more scalable than they already are. So we're working on that. And we are also working on replacing one key component of the core platform with something that will be more useful to the developer building on Dragonchain. And there's some really interesting things there that it probably bore a lot of you if I were to go into it. But effectively, after this first piece that we're working on that's going to affect and even improve scalability and make things cheaper to run, for one, that it will also be deployed onto Google Cloud. Now, I don't know if we're going to immediately roll all of our managed into that, but we do believe that we will be moving at least a couple of systems, if not more than a couple, to Google Cloud Platform from AWS. And various reasons, cost, the console, some of the design elements on how we can do different things there. So there's some very promising pieces there. But the second bigger part is the fact that we want the platform to be more friendly even to a traditional developer. Right now, The general nature of it is that everything being a RESTful API with an SDK, you can pretty much build anything you would want to build. But the biggest issue right now for those very same developers is access to the raw blockchain data, that it is through a different interface and facility than it would be for the traditional development environment. And so we're going to try to move all of that into the same place. And, maybe we'll get into more detail, or if you guys ask more questions about it, if you are interested, I can give you more details. So there's a ton going on there, and it's super exciting, really, really cool stuff, and should be very important for the future. So that's good. Let's see here. Kratos, God of Boy. With the executive order on crypto being passed yesterday, it looks like they are looking at privacy, security, climate concerns. Glad to see Dragon has all that covered. I know Dragonchain partnered with another project called Horizen or Zen a while back for identity protection. Is Dragonchain still partnered with them? If so, is there any way to verify transactions? That's at least 2 question marks. I don't know how many questions are in that. You're supposed to ask 1 question. I'll answer them all though. So the executive order, I have no idea what they're looking at. And I have no idea if that'll lead to anything. I have no idea if that's worth anything, but hopefully so. And at least, in the very least, although it is how many years since the beginning of this tech, it makes sense that they are looking at that. I don't know that they're looking at it for the right reasons, or that they are maximizing what they could do with the technology. But you have to think about what type of people are advising them. It's, if they get anything, it's great, right? Hopefully they'll cross over something that's important. And yes, we have privacy covered. I think we have a better model for privacy protection and use of blockchain and the powers therein than any other platform or project. The security, if you just look at the fact that we are using Bitcoin and Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, and if they wanted to throw anything else in there, we could. There's nothing else that has that level of security anywhere. And climate concerns, partnership with Artemis and that entire set of projects, along with also our own. If you look at our sustainability report, which is still up there published, you can look at the numbers. We're there. So very good point. Okay, so are we still partnered with Horizen? Yes. I don't know where they are with their project. We signed up to help them with certain things by use of our platform, and I do believe they had a coupon to run under that partnership to build out whatever they're building. I do not know where they are at. But I have I know the team, based upon this question, the other day has asked the biz dev guys to reach out and see where they're at, just so we would know, because we've been busy. We haven't kept up with that. And to verify transactions, that would be entirely up to them. That's their system. So we can do nothing except for the generic metrics report, right? So anyway, no way for me to know how many transactions they would have were they fully operational. So next, Drew584, repost from last show. Which project for Dragon are you currently working on, either for a contract already signed or for a potential customer that you are most excited about? And why are you excited about that project? And if you can expand on it, share some details. Okay, let's see here. The project I'm most excited about, I will not share details on, but that's okay. You can only ask 1 question anyway. That project is so far unnamed, and it's actually unnamed. There is no final name. We're operating under a working title situation on the team. Super. I mean, it's exciting on steroids. We're having daily meetings with the team, and we're having weekly meetings with some of the partners, and everybody across the board is excited about it. We have big partnerships coming in on it to provide some very unique technology features and components that no one else has ever done. and it's quite the spectrum of various parts of the technology or industry that it is, I guess, that it fits into. So that's it. It's huge. So it's huge in my mind. It's fun. It's going to be super cool to let you all know about it when we have a name and when it rolls out. So anyway, but no details beyond that. Okay, Dragon Striker. What is DEN's stance on operating in Russia? If DEN becomes banned or is blocked by the Russian government, will DEN launch a dark web version like Twitter did? Here's one question on that. Was Twitter banned by Russia, or did Twitter pull out of Russia? Because I know Nike and Coke and McDonald's closed operations, and I've seen the huge series of logos, right, where you can't buy these shoes or this hamburgers inside of Russia anymore. We ought to see if Wendy's is still there. I don't know, but I wonder, was Twitter banned by Russia? Maybe it was. So either way, we're against censorship. We are, generally DEN is censorship resistant. If we were asked to close off communications or access to people in Russia or Russians, if they asked us to put a filter on to block anyone, any Ruski with an SKY or SKI at the end of their name, we wouldn't do it. It'd be silly. Now, if Russia banned us, which I would I would doubt actually, but I don't know. If Russia banned us, then yeah, we would probably, if it were an available and reasonable thing to do, it would be fun to set up something like that. If you know Distant, who on Coffee of Den, he's spoken quite a bit about making it accessible via Tor or other privacy-related means, that especially when we turn on, which is one of the features listed when we turn on the anonymous posting feature, that might be a good way to use it. So anyway, so something's possible like that. I don't know what we would, but I'd be open to it. Anyway, Treeks, could you elaborate on the migration of the multi-part refactor of the core platform to Google Cloud? Sounds interesting. I think I was already of the same question from above, right? I think I probably came from Telegram, because that's one of the things that I answered someone in Telegram who, I don't know, Telegram's horrible. Anyway, it's not as bad as Reddit. Anyway, Ryan the Mystic, you asked in Telegram, does someone ask here in Den for more info on the multi-part refactor of the core Dragonchain platform? I don't know. The judges are going to have to decide who gets credit. Oh, wait, I think it was supposed to be the top voted. If any duplicate questions are asked, the top voted gets the credit. I think that's right. So judges will decide, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So, but thank you for asking. It's appreciated, because I know somebody was asking it in Telegram, and I said, well, ask it in Den. I'm not going to answer this crap in here anymore. Okay, let's see here. Kratos Boy. Is there any way to add your social media profiles or a business website to be shown in your Den profile next to the description? Yes. In fact, we had a project a while back with a group that kind of fell off the radar. They stopped doing what they were doing, but a lot of their purpose was both at the Lair level and the profile level, but particularly profile level for creators or influencers or whatever you would call people who have followers, that would let them have a much more customizable front for their profile, which could take the form of a stylized or a style, markdown styled description, where you could put links to resume, links to your own website, links to your LinkedIn, whatever else. Or it could be more of a field based, where we say, okay, you can put in these various things, and we have to decide some of that. But I agree, it's very much needed, both for a Lair, so that you can better communicate, like say community guidelines and things like that, but also for an individual. And by the way, speaking of the individual, we haven't talked about this for a while, but we have a designed feature that we've not built out yet, which would essentially let you treat your own feed as a personal layer. I think that's what might even been what we called it in the design, that you could essentially, as you are building your following, sell lot for your layer, or give it to people that are in your community, so that you can essentially have a DAO surrounding your own personal profile. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff there that we want to do anyway. So let us know. Coinier, would it be difficult to add forum style signatures that are displayed under posts in Den? I'm sure it would. Maybe that could be a profile function. I don't know. It depends if it would get annoying with people, reading through a thread. Like, say, would you do that in a chat? Probably not, but maybe only in posts, maybe in post replies. I don't know. It could also be something that would, like maybe a link to your profile info section or something that would always be at the bottom, or I don't know, something like that's possible if people would want it. Reddit Destroyer, I've said before, probably my favorite Den username. Does Dragonchain and Den.Social have a treasury? Yes, the Den.Social treasury, you can probably see there's a public address that some of that, you look at the mining, it's all handled with a multi-sig of the DAO. So that's already there. Dragonchain does, but it's private for security reasons, where things are. Some people have pulled stuff out, but anyway. Dragon Striker in Dragonchain. Let's see here. In terms of WCAG and ADA guidelines, what types of efforts have been applied towards making Den more accessible for people with disabilities? I've not looked at any of those guidelines since I worked as a contractor for Lockheed, so I don't remember all the details. I mean, I'm colorblind myself, so we do some things there, even in review, where if I can't tell something, I can't remember what the name is, but one of the specific RG color blindness that I have. So we already do some of that, but nothing formal. And yet, we're definitely open to it. It's not necessarily too difficult, but sometimes it's kind of crazy because some of this stuff gets into weird browser specific things. So I just remember a lot of really weird things around that on the browser version question related to that. So anyway, but some of the other stuff is relatively simple, and we try to make the interface as usable as possible anyway. So, okay. Angel Breaker. I currently read a lot about KDA Kadena. I thought it was Kadena, but it was Kadena. Anyway, can you give us some words about how to rate Kadena from a Dragonchain point of view? I will have to look this up because I'm not up to date on anything that they're doing. So I really apologize. Maybe if you were to put some links in there on things that in particular you'd be interested in, or maybe next week, because I would be, and maybe World Blockchain Roundtable. If you were to ask that, then we could, some of those guys probably know a little bit more about it. It'll give me a couple of days to look into it. And then we can, maybe I can answer you from there. Because even on the roundtable, the whole point of having a roundtable is to have open forum where the other hosts can answer related to whatever projects they're on, or generically, whereas, the whole reason we set that up is so that we can answer things from the Dragonchain point of view. So you could put that in there, or back here next week, and I'll try to get it answered. Elon Tusk question: Can you go over the different ways we can monetize our Dragon and Matter sitting in our MetaMask wallets? Very good question. So, interesting thing about Den and Dragonchain. So first off, obviously, dragons get time. Time you can use. The one that is most often used for use case for time is running verification nodes, right? And depending upon the volume of the network and the fees being paid, people will complain more or less in Telegram. But one way or another, that's the primary use for someone running verification nodes. But probably the more valuable use is in selling or getting someone to run a Dragonchain node that you could effectively get a lower transaction price than they could with the time that you have. Let's say you have hundreds of millions of time that you could essentially get a really good rate that they wouldn't be able to get. So you could sell them transactions effectively, or sell them the use of your time. So, and we will assist with that. You know, we have before. So in terms of setting up the accounts, I should say. So that's there. The other side, the very much newer, very interesting thing about using the staking systems in Den is that you can stake Dragon for lore, you can stake Matter for lore, and you can stake lore for lore. And if it's in your account in Den, then you know, and you're a normie and you don't have MetaMask, it just works. So if you have lore, it will get you more lore. If you have Matter, it will get you more Matter. And if you do certain things on the system, like what is effectively a good economic reputation, that you're not dumping all your Matter, that you have liquidity in for Matter, or liquidity for lore, that all of these various things will get you more lore in the LOR Behavior program. And the cool thing about it that I think you hit upon is the fact that it works if it's inside the account. So you don't have to be a crypto person at all. You don't have to, you know, you can just literally come on the system and start making posts and voting, and you will earn this stuff and keep earning it. But if you are a crypto person, you can essentially take your Dragon that is in an Ethereum address somewhere on your hardware wallet or otherwise, and you can, or Matter or lore, or liquidity pool tokens from Uniswap v3, and you don't have to stake them into a smart contract. You don't have to pay anything for an Ethereum fee. All you have to do is come into Den and claim the wallet using MetaMask, essentially signing a message from the address holding those various tokens, and the system will credit you for those tokens. The cool thing about the liquidity, because normally people do it by saying you have to stake it for 3 months or 12 months or something. We didn't want to deal with the risk there, or the expense, you know, paying the fees for it. So we use time on that staking mechanism. So the longer you hold it, the more value it has, including for the DAO voting system itself. So there's some really cool stuff there. Sorry, hopefully I didn't ramble too much. There's a lot, and I probably missed some things too. Next, Josh O, is it possible for a lair to rebrand itself? For example, Ichi, changing name or content, or would the lair need to dissolve and burn a lot? It's totally open to do whatever. If you have a bunch of people owning the lair, it might be harder to burn that lot, but that's by design. That you know, if you say, hey, this lair is going nowhere, I'd rather have the lore, that you could essentially burn the lot, get part of your lore out after a fee, and do with it what you would. But if let's say you have enough, or you have a good enough proposal to pivot the lair and say, you know what, we used to talk about X, but let's talk about X in relation to Y. And everybody agrees because the lair is not really active enough, and Y for some reason is hot today, so we can get a lot more content in. All it would take is changing the lair description, maybe some discussions as to, you know, what the vision is, and off you go. So you can already do that, and it's totally totally your choice. And by the way, Bit by the Coin already answered, but you still get credit because that was a good question. Lair GI is the main point. So, okay. Kratos, God of Boy, second question. What happened? Three. Okay, so I might not get credit. I'm still going to answer them, but I think you only get credit for one. So either way, what happened to the Super Happy Dragon Lucky podcast channel on Spotify? Looks like it hasn't been updated in a year. Okay, Bit by the Coin also answered this. Since it went to the update format, we used to do interviews. Like we had, we've interviewed McAfee. We've interviewed the founder of Wikipedia. We've interviewed Brock Pierce. Who else have we had? We've interviewed a lot of notable, interesting people. But anyway, since we went to the update format, though, the podcast was switched off and we moved it over to the roundtable because that's a more appropriate podcast for more general use. So anyway, wider audience, so on, so on, so on. Okay. And is that the last question? That is the last. We got through all of them and it's only 8:48. So very good. I don't know if we'll keep doing this or not, but I will tell you, it was interesting to me, number one, that people on Telegram and Twitter flipped out when one of the Telegram channels got temporarily turned off. And I don't know. I wasn't there. Thankfully, for my own mental health, I'm not in Hodler or Trader Chat anymore. But it got shut down, and then there was all this. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe they are not transparent. And I'm like, guys, we have 4 freaking shows a week. I get constant questions like, why are you still doing this? Why are you still doing that show? And you have to wonder what the hell some of these people are thinking. But complaining that we aren't being transparent. So I'm like, well, the whole point of this is to go to Den to ask these so we can keep them in one place, number one. And frankly, so we can cut back on some of the BS drama that goes on there that I think a lot of is manufactured on purpose. I don't know why, but some people, you hate us. Why do you keep coming around? It's kind of crazy. But one way or another, Den has very appropriate features that, by the way, we designed based upon our studies of what happens in Telegram and what happens on Twitter and what happened in Slack and so on. And, one of them is an auto ban. Some people hate that, but to each community, they can do what they want. And the other is the reputation controls, which they might even be too flexible because they're not necessarily the easiest thing to master, right? But that's the whole point, that you could make you could make your community, and you can even adjust it, by the way, if you don't like the way the results of certain settings. You can make it hard to get into, but once you're in, it's all quality. Or you could make it easy to get into, but if you start posting stuff that people don't appreciate, or I guess the main point is if they are inappropriate for that community and its culture, that over time it could be placed where maybe you can only reply. You can't make a post because your posts are too aggressive or for one way or another not appreciated by the community. And we prefer the reputation side to the auto block. And all of the layers are still learning how to set these things up. So because every community is unique and every subject matter is going to bring a range of different types of commentary and content. So that's why they're there. And I would like for more of the layers to start discussing some of that, especially as issues pop up. Okay, well, here's how that worked, which means, and that's like, say, inside the Dragonchain layer, we've had an active discussion about blocking versus reputation-based access and how we can tune it, and there's a lot of drama there. So it's some people might find it fun. It tends to generate more energy, but however that works, that's the main point. Look at the reputation system and decide, are we getting more posts from of content that shouldn't be here, or things that are not maybe the content is okay, but the manner in which the post is made is not appropriate, that you can essentially filter that stuff. You can even filter voting based upon that reputation. So if somebody is constantly in there saying things that don't fit the community, or the however the community consensus appears, that maybe it doesn't appreciate that content, that you could effectively make it so they still have some access, but they can't do some of the things that don't fit. So anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, lots to do. So in closing, let's see here, we have new coffee with Den merch. By the way, and we need to credit, I can't remember who created the logo, but it is super cool. Very nice. So go get some of that. I need to buy some. There's also new DENDAO merch, which is very cool. And so a new logo. In fact, you can see it in the DENDAO layer as well. I definitely need to get that too. And then obviously the Super Happy Dragon Lucky coupon code SHDL 0x88 for 15% off until the end of March. So I'm sure we'll have, so it's halfway there, right? You have like 16 days, I think. And essentially, go buy some merch. Dragonchain.Store. And in closing, watch Super Happy Dragon Lucky next week, a week from today. Watch the roundtable this Thursday. Follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and Jojo Row on Twitter and elsewhere. Like, comment, share, do all the other good things. Thanks so much. Bye.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.